Commodore, we are about to air in a minute and 30 seconds. Thank you.
Okay, Risa.
The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. China's maritime forces fired water cannons at Philippine ships yet again, this time along Bajo de Masinloc, Scarborough Shoal. Let's get more details on this incident from Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson for West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tarieles, joining us live today. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, Risa, and good morning to our viewers.
Commodore, can you give us a brief account of the incident yesterday concerning our vessel and the Chinese ship?
Well, this Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources operation, we on the part of the Philippine Coast Guard, we are just monitoring how it would turn out. The original, the mission objective of the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources is to provide humanitarian and support assistance to those reported Filipino fishing vessels within the vicinity of Bajo de Masinloc. So, as an effort of the Bureau of Fisheries and the national government to provide fuel subsidy and also to give away packs to those Filipino fishermen, this prompted the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources to deploy three vessels. The two of those vessels departed December 8 around 4 p.m. from Orion Port in Bataan, and also another BFAR vessel that departed from Suwal, Pangasinan. And then they arrived yesterday early morning, and that these are the incidents that happened. They have experienced being water cannon 8 times, and Chinese Maritime Militia also used their acoustic device that has provided a lot of discomfort to the crew of the BFAR vessel. And I think the most, for me, what I don't really like with the Chinese Coast Guard action is that they deployed the rigid hull inflatable boats from the Chinese Coast Guard vessels, and they have driven away the Filipino fishing vessels. And their only intent really was to receive the fuel subsidy from the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. So for me, this is the most heartbreaking thing, seeing our fellow Filipino fishermen being treated that way, considering that Bajo de Masinloc does not just fall within our exclusive economic zone, but it is a high tide elevation, and it generates a territorial sea, meaning that we have a territorial sovereignty over these waters. And this also recognized by the 2016 arbitral ruling that this is a traditional fishing grounds both for Filipinos, Vietnamese, and even the Chinese.
Commodore, would you say this has anything to do with the Christmas convoy? Or is it just coincidental?
I think this incident is different from that of the Atinito Christmas Convoy coalition that is being conducted now in Palawan. Because this has been the activity of the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. They did it already. They did this already for a lot of times or in the past months. As I said, I think the only thing that is different right now is they're now using water cannons once again to attack to use the water cannons to prevent the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources from proceeding to Ayungin Show, to Bajo de Masinloc. I'm sorry.
Commodore, how are our personnel doing? Because we understand there were reports that there were damages on the vessel. But our personnel, are they okay?
Well, for the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources personnel, I think they're perfectly fine. Nobody among the crew were injured or harmed. It was only reported that Datu Tamblot sustained some structural damages from its navigational and communicational equipment.
In the reports also, Commodore, there was a mention of a long-range acoustic device. Can you explain to us this further?
Well, it was reported that it's a long-range acoustic device because it has a lasting effect to the sailors of Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. We believe that it's not just an ordinary ship's horn because it doesn't have that kind of irritating and painful feeling in your senses through hearing. But whenever they use this, and it was reported that they used this 3 times, it has this kind of feeling that it is so painful for them. That's why we assume that this is a long-range acoustic device.
Was this the first time that we've actually encountered something like this, Commodore?
Well, this is the first time that we saw this from being used here in Bajo de Masinloc. But definitely, this is not the first time that the Chinese Coast Guard are using this in different parts of the West Philippine Sea.
Commodore Targiela, we also got reports that the Chinese Coast Guard made some very dangerous maneuvers. How aggressive was this tactic this time around? And do you think there was an intent actually to hit Philippine vessels?
Well, the dangerous maneuvers were actually carried out by the Chinese maritime militia vessels. At some point, the dangerous maneuver even resulted to a hitting of the rail of one of the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. But it's not that severe. So again, if our BFAR sailors were really not that skillful in seamanship, it would have resulted to a much more severe accident. But again, also in the part of the Coast Guard and BFAR, this is something that we would like to prevent. We don't want to have a much bigger accidental collision.
One last question, sir. The National Task Force has issued a statement already. Do we have any reports if China has already received this? Have they sent a reply regarding this latest incident in Bajo de Masinloc?
Regarding how the Chinese government responded or took the statement of the National Task Force West Philippine Sea, I think the Department of Foreign Affairs is in the better position to respond to that question.
All right, sir. Well, thank you for sharing with us your time and all those information. That was Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson for West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela. Thank you, sir. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Corrections, or BuCor, is bringing back the mandatory use of face masks within its facilities as cases of respiratory illness in the country increase. BuCor said on-duty personnel, visitors, and civilians entering their facility are required to wear face masks. Persons deprived of liberty also have to wear a mask or a face mask when they avail medical consultations and laboratory services in prison hospitals. The Health Department recently recorded 4 cases of walking pneumonia in the country. However, the DOH urged the public not to panic since this is an infection that can be treated and prevented by following the minimum public health standards. Health experts are reminding the public to balance their food intake this holiday season. Dr. Don Robles Pierre Reyes of the Philippine Heart Association urged the public to avoid eating over fatty, salty, and sugary foods as this could potentially cause health problems. He said a healthy option would be to add more fruits and vegetables in their meals.
Kapag tayo naghanda, nandyan ang lechon, nandyan ang hamon, nandyan po ang queso, spaghetti, lahat po ng alam nating masasarap. Pero kailangan pong balansehin natin ito sa pagkain natin ng high fiber food like vegetables. Maganda po tayo ng vegetable-based na dishes. And of course, huwag po natin kalimutan ang prutas.
Meanwhile, a restaurant in Makati offers an alternative to meat for those looking to start a plant-based diet. Greenery Kitchen co-owner Ivy Villamor said plant-based food are both nutritious and affordable.
Ang health natin is becoming a priority nowadays, and maganda dito, nagiging health conscious na yung mga Pilipino din. Kaya nagiging patok na rin sa kanila and open sila na akapin at itry ang plant-based vegan food options. Kung cost lang yung pag-uusapan natin, it will be more cheaper to go to a vegan plant-based diet.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Search and rescue operations continue for the lone survivor of the crash of Piper plane in Isabela. A Philippine Air Force helicopter took off on Saturday, carrying a team of rescuers and tracker dogs to the crash site. Authorities said there are indications that 43-year-old Irma Escalante may have gone on foot after surviving the crash. Isabela Governor Rodito Albano said the rescue missions will continue, although bad weather conditions may affect the search.
Baka malayo na yung lilakad niya, pero tingin ko maririnig niya yung mga choppers na pumunta doon sa area na yun Hindi lang natin alam kung medyo may pilay siya o hindi siya makagalaw. Hindi magre-relent ang ating mga rescuers to find the lone survivor.
Choco Mucho is still gunning for a dream final showdown against sister team Creamline at the PBA All Filipino Conference. After their heartbreaking Game 1 performance, the Flying Titans dragged the Cignal HD Spikers to Game 3 after smashing them 25-23, 25-22, and 25-22. MVP contender CC Rondina scored 23 points, including 20 kills. Dominating Team Creamline booked its ticket to the finals after sweeping Cherry Tigo 26-24, 25-21, and 25-21. Reigning MVP Tots Carlos led the Cool Smashers to its victory with 19 points, 13 receptions, and 7 digs. Creamline is aiming for its 5th All-Filipino crown and 7th PVL title. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 10:45 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.